Michael Eldred, what up? DC, what up? Carlos Gregorio, what's up? Tim Starr, what up? Jay Vicious. Franklin, what up? Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. I'll say some wild stuff, man. Hold up. Hold up, we're coming. Hold up, we're coming, we're coming. Here we go. There we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. Yeah. Yeah. Run it back, nation. What is good? It is your boy DJ Eastwood, running back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Algo gang, I need you to do your thing on the stream. Hit the like button on the stream. That would be greatly appreciated. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these videos. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, or if you watch these shows or listen to these shows all the time and you're not subscribed, that is fraudulent behavior. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other platform. And watch Sixers games with us at playback.tv/runitbackphilly. We were just in there. And it was a blast. Okay, let's get down to business. Yeah, shout out to everybody in here. Hit the like button. Let's get down to business. The Philadelphia 76ers beat the Brooklyn Nets 137-133 in Ben Simmons' second return to Philly. His first return to Philly, you know, he was off the hook. He got to play against all of our scrubs because we had all those injuries going on. He didn't get so lucky this time. He had to play against a healthy Philadelphia 76ers squad. And outside of a couple of bursts of aggression, Ben Simmons was the exact amount of fraud that we are used to him being, okay? I don't have my phone holder out here, man. I got notes on the phone. Now, look, I got a question for you, first of all. Are you satisfied with this win, or are you frustrated that the 76ers blew yet another third quarter lead? That's my first question for you. I will say this, and you know me, I get all kinds of irate and pissed off when they blow leads. But Seth Curry was kind of going ham on us, And yeah, I think we were doing the same thing defensively that we do all the time with these live ball guides. To quote the greatest coach of all time, Brett Brown, um, we have trouble with them, man. You know, Seth Curry gets hot, calls a ball screen, he's wide open. Kyrie Irving gets hot, he calls a ball screen, he's wide open. There's not really creative plays you have to do against this 76ers defense. You just call a ball screen and you're wide open because we just sit back on ball screens. And is it the strategy? Is it that Joel Embiid drops back in coverage? Is it that we don't have the athleticism or the length to switch everything like a lot of NBA teams do, or most NBA teams do? So it's interesting. But Seth Curry went off. I guess I'm finding it difficult for me to be upset because I like Seth Curry that much. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just like, Seth Curry went off. Yeah, he dropped 32. It is what it is. I'm not worried about it. But we did blow a lead, and I was saying, let's put this game away. Let's go up by 20, 25. Let's put this game away. This Nets team without Kevin Durant has no business being in here. And somebody in the chat said, it's not close. We're up by 15 points. And I said, come on, man. You've watched a 76ers game before. You think 15 points is enough to feel comfortable? You think a 15-point lead is enough to feel comfortable? Now, they got 30 from Kyrie Irving and 32 off the bench from Seth Curry. Obviously, that's a season high for Seth Curry. And yeah, he was hot. He was feeling himself, man. He was that third quarter run was all Seth Curry, and he was really just coming down the floor and chucking, just coming around the ball screen and chucking, and I mean, even step back threes from the top. I mean, he was doing everything. He was feeling like his brother, really. And then he had one from the right side that was a real heat check. That was like a dribble step back through the legs, and he airballed it. So the basketball gods did, remind Seth Curry that you're not Steph Curry. You are still just Seth Curry. So let's, chill the fuck out. Take it easy. You probably shouldn't do step back fadeaways out of bounds and things. I'm just bullshitting. But Seth airballed that one, and that was kind of the end of his hot streak. But that third quarter, he was the best version of Seth Curry, and he was the best version of the best version of a Curry. He was basically Steph Curry in that third quarter when he made that run. That's my first takeaway. My second takeaway is there was two different versions and two different bursts of Tyrese Maxey, right? So Maxey comes in end of the first quarter because he's not starting anymore. He's coming off the bench, which I still don't know how I feel about. How many minutes did Maxey have in the game? Tyrese Maxey had 30 minutes in the game. You see what I'm saying here? Joel had 35. Harden had 35. Melton had 34. Tobias Harris had 33. I still personally think that Tyrese Maxey is a starter. You just need better coaching strategy to get him into the lineups where he's running the show at the end of the first, into the second, and at the end of the third, into the fourth. You want Tyrese Maxey people want Tyrese Maxey to come off the bench because they think he should have that time where he's on the floor without James Harden and Joel Embiid. But to end a game, it's still Tyrese Maxey on the floor with James Harden and Joel Embiid. So all I'm saying is he doesn't have to be coming off of the bench to have those moments of a game where he plays without James Harden and Joel Embiid. You just need coaching strategy to make that happen. All Tyrese Maxey coming off the bench does is lower his minutes in the overall total of the game by about 5, as you see here, as you've seen in these couple of games. It's like one of these fitness people trying to tell me that intermittent fasting does some kind of magic because you haven't eaten for 16 hours. No, it's just you're just consuming less calories at the end of the day. I don't know why that's the analogy I just came up with, but all you're doing is giving him 5 less minutes. That's all you're doing. Is it really helping you? I don't know. And DeAnthony Melton, I know he's better defensively, so maybe it is. Maybe DeAnthony Melton playing 4 more minutes than Tyrese Maxey is technically helping you because you have a better defender, rebounder, perimeter defender on the floor for 4 more minutes than Tyrese Maxey's on the floor. I don't know. All I'm saying is I personally don't think Tyrese Maxey coming off the bench does anything except bring his minutes down. He's still getting the runs that he would normally get if the coach staggers him and Harden and Embiid strategically. That's all I'm saying. So at the end of he comes in off the bench, end of the first quarter, into the second, goes on a run. Actually extends the lead. We were messing around on a seesaw. Shout out to Mark Zumoff. For the entire first quarter, and then Maxey came in off the bench and went on that run to start the second. That was nice, just going back and forth with Seth Curry. Curry's hitting threes. Maxey's coming down and hitting threes. Curry comes down, hits another three. Maxey comes down, hits a step back from the top of the key. Real confident type of stuff from Tyrese Maxey. And I said it during the game, and I'll say it again. He missed one off the front of the rim that was wide open, and that didn't deter his confidence. He came right back down and shot another one, and I'm loving this version of Tyrese Maxey. I think this is it. I think he's here. I think he has arrived, and I think he knows full well, I am the fucking man. This is my team just as much as it's anybody's team. I'm here, and Seth Curry's down here, hitting threes and going nuts in that run, and Maxey was coming right back down the other end. It was like, it's not like Seth is a superstar either, but it was like two shooters that know they're shooters going back and forth. So I love that Tyrese Maxey has himself on that level mentally, as far as a scorer and a shooter goes, and nothing's really affecting his confidence. I loved it. But the end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, you get another Maxey with the bench lineup, and that lineup didn't do so well, and I didn't see a whole lot out of Tyrese Maxey in that lineup, and Seth Curry went off again, and we didn't really respond this time, and that's what closed the gap. That's what turned a 15-point lead into like 6, and that third quarter run was a combination of two things. That's my take on Maxey. Now, here's my take on how the Sixers blew the lead. The third quarter run was a combination of two things. It was Seth Curry going off. It was our lack of adjusting defensively for Seth Curry, right? We're just simple ball screen. We're not stepping up. We're not hedging the screen. We're not doing anything. We're just letting Seth Curry shoot wide open shots. And it was also the Montrezl Harrell defense on Ben Simmons at the second half of the third quarter, last couple of minutes, right? Last 5-6 minutes of the third quarter. So Ben Simmons comes out after halftime and has some level of aggression, and he was attacking Montrezl Harrell, and it's crazy to me because Ben had no confidence in this game at all until he plowed into Montrezl Harrell in the lane and realized how easy of a layup it is for him to do that. And then he came down the floor again, did it again. Little pump fake right-handed hook shot. He got one of those over Joel in the beginning of the third quarter. But once the third quarter was Ben versus Trez, I feel like he attacked him 2 or 3 different times in a row. And, Seth Curry drove to the rim twice, I counted, and basically an easy layup over Montrezl Harrell. I don't hate Montrezl Harrell. I love Montrezl Harrell. But Montrezl Harrell is a horrendous interior defender. He's a horrendous interior defender. And Doc Rivers has known this now for a lot of years. Doc Rivers lost a playoff series against the Denver Nuggets in 2020 after being up 3-1. Montrezl Harrell was a minus 37 in the series. Ivica Zubac was a plus 20-something. It was obvious to everybody who they should have been playing against Nikola Jokic. Doc Rivers refused to do it because he liked his guy better. So I'm just letting you guys know. You've witnessed it several times now this season. You're going to witness it a lot more times, and you're going to see it in the playoffs. Doc Rivers loves Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell can't even guard Seth Curry at the rim, and Doc Rivers just keeps him out there. There was no adjustment. There was no, maybe I should put in a rim defender, maybe someone who could block a shot, maybe someone who could get a rebound. Paul Reed. There was no adjustment. Doc Rivers leaving Montrezl Harrell on an island has killed him for years and is going to kill him again. We just watched it in this game. We're going to see it a lot more times, and we're going to see it in the playoffs. I'm just saying, prepare for it. Prepare for it. I like Montrezl Harrell. I like the effort that he gives. But you just can't leave him out there as the sole rim protector when players are attacking the rim. And a player like Ben Simmons, who had no confidence in this game at all, got confidence because you left Montrezl Harrell in the paint on an island. So you actually accomplished the unthinkable. You gave Ben Simmons confidence. That's how bad your defensive strategy was at the end of the third quarter. Speaking of Ben Simmons, let me read just a couple of my Ben Simmons notes because this was fun. He returns to Philly. He gets booed every single time he touches the ball. He does the same thing he's always done for years, which is just bring the ball across half court, hand it off, set a screen, stand around, do nothing. At the end of the first half, Ben Simmons had one field goal attempt. He had 0 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and I think he had 3 fouls in the first half and picked up his 4th early in the third quarter also, and the coach did not care that Ben Simmons had 4 fouls. He left him out there in the third quarter because, one, he knew he wasn't going to play him in the fourth, which is just hilarious at this point that an NBA coach had to make the ultimate decision to not play Ben Simmons healthy in the fourth quarter of NBA games. And number 2, he didn't care that Ben Simmons had 4 fouls because if he fouls out, you got the same result you got tonight, which is 3 quarters of basketball. So in the first quarter, man, Ben Simmons was playing like an absolute child, like a grown child, just getting the ball under the rim and passing it right away like the ball's on fire, like hot potato. Passed up a wide open dunk in the first quarter with Montrezl Harrell standing in front of him. It was fun. It was fun to laugh at. It was fun to rah-rah. It was fun to bully him. It was fun to, bask in our glory because we were right the whole time. It was fun until the third quarter brought us back down to reality because, the harassing Ben Simmons thing isn't fun if we're blowing the lead and going to lose the game. It's still valid, but it's not fun if we're blowing the lead and starting to lose the game. Second quarter with about 3 minutes left, Ben missed a wide open bunny right in front of the rim. That was a fun one. And then the third quarter, he came out with some aggression and he attacked Montrezl Harrell a couple times. And he finished and got an and one to end the third quarter on Harrell. And then to start the fourth, he scored on Harrell again. And then we actually, I guess you could call this an adjustment, or they just got a switch or whatever. We got Niang on Ben Simmons, who's also not a good defender and can't defend most NBA bigs. But he locked up Ben Simmons. Ben calls for the ball, does his traditional call for a clear out in the post and do absolutely nothing. So he calls for a clear out in the post, gets Niang, dribbles the ball about 17 times and passes it back out, gets harassed by the crowd. George Niang screams in his face. Ben pushes him and gets a technical foul. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad because the guy's an arrogant prick. And I'll never feel bad. I will laugh at this guy's demise as long as I live because he deserves it. So it was fun. That was fun. All right. That was fun. Now I got a couple more takes, okay? Joel Embiid, not his greatest game. Finished the game with 26 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 fouls, 6 for 18 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. Not his best game. He had ups and downs in the game. I do think Joel Embiid struggles with a center like Nicholas Claxton, who he can overpower physically, but he cannot out-jump. And Nicholas Claxton has length and can jump out the gym and can jump fast. So I do think Joel Embiid struggled with Nicholas Claxton, and he was struggling with him in the first quarter. They had a little bit of words. Joel tried to dunk on Nick Claxton in the first quarter. Nick Claxton, very nice, clean block. And Joel got kind of mad about it. You know, he got kind of pissed off. And he came down the other end, and they were chirping. And Nick Claxton looked right at him and said, "Sit the fuck down." Now, some people call me a homer. I was on Nick Claxton's side of this argument because I thought Joel was being a little bitch. I thought he got blocked cleanly, and he was mad about it. And he was talking trash and acting like a child. And I said, and then when he sat down at the end of the first, I said, "Now, Joe, you need to come out the second and shut your mouth and let your game do the talking, because you're just coming off as weak right now. You're just coming off as you know, upset that you're getting your ass beat by Nick Claxton." And he came out in the second with a lot more seriousness, a lot more aggression, a lot more dominance, and put his head down and got things done. And so I loved what Joel Embiid looked like when he came back in the second quarter versus kind of what he looked like in the first, because Nick Claxton had him on his heels, you know? Nick Claxton was showing him up a little bit, and he let his emotions get the best of him in that first quarter, and it just came off as whack to me. And I think he sat down and he said, "What am I doing? Am I really out here beefing with Nicholas Claxton? I'm an NBA superstar." And he came back in the second quarter and went to work. So I liked it. But he, you know, it started to happen again, like in the third, in the fourth. Claxton was a tough matchup for Joel, man. Claxton was a tough matchup for Joel. Joel had an opportunity to dunk on Ben Simmons in this game. Ben Simmons moved out of the way. Joel dunked the ball with two hands, tried to rip the rim off, and then said something to Ben. And I think he said something like, "That's how you finish." Because it was right after Ben missed that bunny right in front of the rim. So I love the trolling by Joel in this game. But he definitely did have a tough time with Claxton. But I loved, you know, anybody that trash talks Ben Simmons is fun for me. I didn't think we were going to get so much Joel Embiid versus Ben Simmons in this game. I thought it was going to happen rarely. It happened all the time. From the time the game started to the time it ended, it was Joel Embiid versus Ben Simmons. Well, most of the first half, it was Joel Embiid versus Ben Simmons. Obviously, Ben wasn't in the fourth quarter, and Ben got the run in the third when Joel was on the bench. But most of the first half, we got exactly what we came for. We got Joel Embiid with the ball on the block with Ben Simmons trying to guard him, and Ben played pretty good defense on him. I'm not going to lie to you. The first couple possessions, Ben stood him up. Ben's a good defender. We already know he's a good defender. Played pretty good defense on him. I would have liked for Joe to dominate him a little bit more than he did. But, you know, the time that he had the opportunity to dunk on him and Ben moved out of the way, that was fun. On the other end, Ben passing up wide open dunks and then missing bunnies right in front of the rim. That was fun. So it was fun to troll Ben Simmons. But, you know, it would have been I guess it would have been more fun if Joel Embiid had a better game. Wasn't a great game, but that's how great Joel Embiid actually is, because when he doesn't have a great game and he has 26 points and 10 rebounds, 26 and 10 is an off night for Joel Embiid. That's how good he is. 26 and 10 is an off night for Joel Embiid. That's how good he is. I love that. Bill, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. We're going to talk about how Embiid didn't score a single field goal on Ben, or he only made one more field goal than Ben did all game. I mean, he was getting fouled a lot when he was driving to the rim on, when he started to get aggressive in the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. He was getting fouled a lot. He got to the free throw line a lot. He had an opportunity to dunk on Ben Simmons twice in the game, and Ben moved out of the way. So I'm counting those as 2 field goals on Ben. 2 field goals, a couple of fouls. I mean, out of how many, Joel versus Ben matchups there were in the totality of the game, I think he, off the top of my head, he probably two field goals and 2 fouls. I'll take it. I don't know if you're trying to like talk up Ben Simmons after this game or something like that, or you're just disappointed in Joel Embiid's performance. If you're a Sixers fan and you're disappointed in Joel's performance, you have every right to be. If you're a Nets fan and you're trying to say something good about Ben, that's funny because he's just awful at this point. James Harden, let me look at the stats before I give an assessment of James Harden. I think the zone still, I think Bill paid money to be wrong. I'm just giving my opinion. Bill can give his opinion. I'm just giving my opinion. James Harden had 23 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists in the game. Not a great James Harden game either, but he did come up clutch. But I think James still struggles with the zone defense. I still think that, towards the end of the game, the beginning of the fourth or whatever it was, the Nets run zone, and we try to force the Joel Embiid, James Harden 2-man game, and we struggle doing it. And this is what I said in that video the other day. Yesterday in the video, when I said, the Sixers are the second seed in the East. Are you comfortable with it, or how good do you feel? Are you on a mountaintop screaming, watch out for us, or are you still skeptical? And I said, when James and Joel were out and all those bench players, there was no pecking order. They were just sharing the ball. We were talking about the ball movement, the chemistry, all those things. And I said, wait till the starters come back. Not that you're not better with the stars on the floor, but Doc Rivers forces an offensive strategy. And he did it again in this game when we started to, the Nets started to run that zone defense. They started to cut the lead with Seth Curry, and they started to give us struggles on the offensive end because they were running a zone defense, and we were trying to force a 2-man game with James Harden and Joel Embiid. I think too much. I think there was too much ISO. I just think you need a plan B. You need a different strategy, And then the shot clock's running out, and you end up with a Tobias Harris ISO or something like that. Something you don't want, So James didn't have a great game, but came up big at the end, when we needed a bucket. We were on a field goal drought, and I said, somebody's got to do something. James had a couple of bad turnovers. I started talking trash about my beard being longer than his, and all of a sudden he scores 8 points in like 2 minutes. He hits a couple of threes and gets to the free throw line. So, shout out to James Harden for doing something to help us, survive after not having, a really impactful game. I guess that's how I'll say it. But when it mattered the most, he hit a couple of big step back threes. He was getting Seth Curry one-on-one. I thought he should have taken him to the rim a couple times because Seth can't guard James Harden. James is 6'5", 220. Seth can't guard anybody in the NBA. He should have just been driving right past him, but I said he was settling for threes, but he was making them. And then he got a switch on, what was it? They made a run. It got to the point where it was a pretty close game. We needed somebody to really get a bucket and ice it under a minute, and it was James Harden again. This time he got I think Royce O'Neal on a one-on-one and just drove right past him and finished at the rim. So, James didn't have a great game, but he came up clutch when we needed him to, and I guess I have to be happy with it. We've been blowing leads. Again, the blown lead in the third quarter, it was a combination of Seth Curry getting hot, us not adjusting defensively, and then Doc Rivers leaving Montrezl Harrell out there in the middle of the paint. And people were attacking him. Mr. Rudy Poo, what up? DJ, we need you to do the DX Suck It celebration in tribute to the Nets fangirls crying in the chat. There's Nets fans in here? Yeah, Joel broke out the Generation X celebration in this game. But I just, I'm not up here to really like talk a bunch of trash or celebrate too much, because you should have put this team away. This team is not good without Kevin Durant, and it went down to the wire. And if I got to be totally honest with you guys, this is the type of stuff that's going to kill you in the playoffs. This should be blatantly obvious to anybody, especially a Doc Rivers Montrezl Harrell matchup that lost him a playoff series and ultimately got him fired in LA. You're watching him do the same thing with the same player in a different city. I do think these people say a win is a win, at least you got the win, whatever. I don't really feel that way, because I think the things that you're witnessing within the game, those decisions in the third quarter, those runs that another team goes on, those 5-minute field goal droughts you go on, those are things that lose playoff series. They got a dub, but this is the Nets without Kevin Durant. Now, I'm not saying they should blow out every team and every game should be a 25-point victory. Teams go on runs. Teams have off nights. We did get a kind of off night from Joel Embiid. He struggled with Nick Claxton. We got an off night from James Harden. He struggled with the zone defense. We'll have to see if that changes in the playoffs, I guess a win is a win. I guess it's good that they won this game, but I wasn't like completely thrilled, with how it went down. But when it mattered the most, the star players stepped up and put the game away. So I'm happy about that. Matisse Thybulle had a couple of big threes in this game. I'm happy about that. I wanted to shout that out. Matisse Thybulle had 10 points. He was 2 for 4 from 3. He was 3 for 5. So he had a couple of wide open threes. He had nice defense too, Doesn't show the steals here on my ESPN stats. But when Thybulle was in there, in that lineup with Maxey, that was the lineup that was really rolling to begin that second quarter. And I love that lineup because Thybulle gives you that defensive energy and really makes the other team's life a living hell on the offensive side of the ball. And he was everywhere. He was sticking Kyrie Irving right across half court. He was making life difficult. And then on the other end, he was hitting wide open threes. That's all you need. That's all you want from Matisse Thybulle in the grand scheme of things. That's all you want from Matisse Thybulle in the grand scheme of things, man. Like, can you be a 3-and-D player? And I really, really think Matisse Thybulle can be a 3-and-D player. And I think he deserves more time. And then the beautiful drive and alley-oop from Maxey to Matisse on the baseline. I love seeing that because I know Matisse is athletic as hell. And it's nice to see him use that athleticism. 3 steals. Thank you for that. 3 steals in 16 minutes? 3 steals in 12 minutes. There you go. Shout out to Mizzy Woe in the chat. Thank you for that. Matisse Thybulle had 3 steals in 12 minutes. And 2 made 3-pointers. I need more playing time for Matisse Thybulle. And I need, Paul Reed to be your backup center, but Doc's not going to do that. Gotta shout out DeAnthony Melton, man. He was 3 for 6 from 3, but, I thought he had more points than 19, actually. D'Anthony Melton had some big shots, some big time makes. You know those plays where the play's breaking down, shot clock's running down. Harden kind of panic passes it to him in the corner with like 3 seconds on a shot clock, and he drills it. I thought D'Anthony Melton was awesome in this game. A lot of hustle plays, couple of crazy rebounds that a 6'2" guard should not be able to grab. Love D'Anthony Melton in this game. George Niang had a goose egg in this game. That's kind of rare, I guess. You know, for it's kind of rare for George Niang to have a goose egg. But it is what it is. It's a bench player. You're not going to get everything out of him every night, you know. And Shake Milton, 4 points off the bench. There you have it. 27 from Tyrese Maxey is huge. He actually led the entire team in scoring off the bench. Without Tyrese, we lose this game. But yeah, man, that's it. We move on to the Denver Nuggets on Saturday at 3 p.m. And I will be doing a pregame live with the Sixers' favorite Twitter analytical activist, Swipe a Cam, at 2 p.m. We will be going live for the Sixers Nuggets pregame. I'm going to give him all of the reasons that Joel Embiid is the most dominant player in the NBA. He's going to break out his calculator and give me all of the advanced analytics and try to convince me that Nikola Jokic is the best NBA player to ever live. So that should be fun. Tomorrow night, I am collaborating with a San Francisco 49ers podcaster, YouTube channel host. We're going to talk Eagles 49ers tomorrow night. I'm going to let you know when that is. And yeah, man, I think that's it, bro. I think that's all I got to say, man. You guys got anything else to say? Nick J, you don't DJ on Saturdays anymore. I stopped for January and February. But I might be done forever, bro. Cause I don't want to do it anymore. Baby Leg Gaff, thank you for the shout out, bro. Best 76ers reporter, much love. Much love to you too, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. We watched the game on Playback TV. It was fun. We're gonna watch every Sixers game on there for the rest of the year. And it's a blast. Playback.tv/runitbackphilly. Tune in, man. Listen to us on the podcast platforms. You can get all of these post-game live shows on the podcast. Apple Podcast, Spotify, every other podcast. Hit the like button right now. Bam. Like. Subscribe. Share. Tell your friend to tell a friend.